Do you remember when Jimmy thought that Paralympics stood for Paraplegic Olympics?
The Paralympics?
Yeah, it means parallel Olympics.
Yeah.
He thought it meant Paraplegic Olympics. That would be a good site, wouldn't it? Mainly blow football. Right. Okay. So, what was that thing I told you to look up in the week?
You were saying, I don't believe you, were going on about, we were talking about the half man, half woman.
Yeah.
And you were saying...
You can get a sex change on the NHS, just to see what you say about that. Did you look it up?
I didn't, because I think I was wasting my time. I don't think you
I'm
can
giving
have
all
that
these things. Little play records are annoying me now.
You wouldn't do that. You do,
You've annoyed Steve. You've annoyed Steve on air.
I'm sorry about that.
Well, it's just too late, Carl.
But we were talking about other stuff as well. I mean, you know, talking about operations and that. You were saying, you know, can you have a sex change done on the NHS and that?
No, you can.
Well, you say you can. I think that's a bit... It's not that important to have done, I don't think.
Well, it depends if you desperately want it. It depends if you feel that you're born actually a different sex.
Right. And then you went on to say there's other things that are done. Get this, Steve. Someone, if the cat's got a bad liver...
Kidney.
Right. Bad kidney. Can have it done for £5 grand.
Yeah, you can have a kidney operation.
But what's wrong with that? If you've got £5 you want to waste it on a cat, then fine.
Get another one. We went through loads of cats, I've told you before, as a kid, we got through loads. It's not worth it, and there's no cat that is that amazing that you'd go, gonna miss that one, it's never gonna be the same, because—
What do you mean? What would it have to be able to do to be worth it? Well, it's normally to do with people's affection for their cat. They've had the pet for many years. What do you mean? It should be able to juggle? Or do impressions, and that's why it's worth £5 grand?
Supposing there was a fella, right, he feels he was born a woman, he's not happy, right? He doesn't want this he's got a knob and a couple of testicles that he does not want, right? He wants a lovely pair of tits and a minge, right? And he finds out that he gets a cut price, he gets, you know, a cut price sort of operation, a dodgy backstreet, transsexual maker, right? £5 grand. Knockdown price £5 grand. It's done with a blunt knife and some chloroform, right? But
why do you go have it all done?
What? You mean just like have the knob trimmed and wear a bra?
Well, yeah, I mean, are you saying if you have it all done you get some sort of offer, if you give them something?
No, I was being flippant. I'm saying, I was trying to get down to £5 grand. Supposing there was a fellow who had £5 grand to give away, right? Some old woman with her cat is gonna die. Or some fella who wants his knob chopped off and a lovely pair of tits put on. Who would you give the £5 grand to?
So, hang on a minute, so there's a fella who wants to be a woman.
Yeah.
And there's a woman who's got an ill cat.
Yeah.
Ooh. You see, I'd be annoyed. Is this £5 grand? Is this my savings, or?
No, just you get given £5 grand, and you go, but you've got to give it to a charity of your choice. And it's got to be one of them. You give him
right,
£5
I'll tell you what I'd do.
What?
I'd find out what the cat looks like, get a replacement, right? Say it's had the op. She's loving it, thinking it's happy again.
Yeah.
Give the fella the money.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, so you're basically saying that you'd rather have the bloke have his knob cut off and stuff than
I'd have to have a chat with him first and say, what's your problem? And say, why do you need this doing? And
I think they go through that. I think they go to counselling and live with a woman for
like a second opinion thing. I'd just be saying, right, are you sure?
Yeah.
But £5 grand on a cat, even, it can only be for people who have got loads of money, right? And it's like, well, £5 grand, it's nothing.
Well, I think this debate will rage on. Should we play a record and come back to this? Think about it, though.
Yeah. Bit of White Stripes.
Placebo. Bitter End on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Karl, you're looking all flustered and confused again.
Still sort of don't get it.
What don't you get?
Well, that's a long list, Rick.
Yeah.
You know, if you have your...
knob cut off.
Yeah.
It's because they feel like they're actually born a woman, and they're not living right, they can't live properly with all these things, you know. Well, I mean, there are people that are genetically the other gender, they've just grown You know, there was one woman actually who was a scientist researching it and found out she was a man. She had, Y chromosomes, but this is something different. This is both psychological and everything else.
Sometimes it's that thing again, isn't it? You can't always have, you know, what you want. It's like, I'd like to have hair. Do you know what I mean?
But it's a bit easier. You can wear a wig. You can't go around, really. Well, you can put on, you know, false breasts and tuck it in.
That's just it as well, isn't it, you see? You say, you know, you could have the operation done and that, and yeah, you might sort of feel as free as a woman down below and that, but at the end of the day, you still look like a fella.
Yeah, here's a bra and a split tennis ball.
No.
They'd be just like Auntie Nora.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Well, yeah, but it's about their outward appearance as well and how they feel publicly. Don't forget, a transsexual, it's not a transvestite. This isn't just a builder in a dress. They have the hormone replacement as well, so they get estrogen, so they and electrolysis, so they have, you know, their face looks different, they don't go bald, they're slighter, they you know what I mean? They're the real thing. A transsexual is now the real thing. Biologically and politically and...
But they'll still be a man, won't they?
Well, it'd be embarrassing if they don't tell their new partner and there's pictures of them, you know, down the pub when they were 24, but you probably sort of get over that, don't you? They go, it's just a fella with a beard, drinking the yard of ale. That was me.
Well, interesting story. Probably should have told you this before the honeymoon.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can have all that done, right? There's stuff, you know, you could have your bits done, right? You can have, like, false teeth, but you know that when you see an old person with a good set of teeth, it's like, well, they're false. There's no way you've got good teeth like that if you were brought up in, like, the 30s.
But what would you do if Suzanne said, look, I've got a terrible secret, and she showed you a picture of this kid, this little boy, growing up, you know, playing football, and then the pictures stop at 20, just before you met her, and, she goes, and she shows you a nice pair of bollocks in a jar, she goes, they were mine.
Well, first thing is he'd take back the gloves you bought her last week.
Would you go, oh, I can't go out with you now? Or would you say, well, you're the same person? I've blown his mind.
Yeah,
I really have freaked him out there.
She is into sport.
Eh? Should we play a record while you give her a call?
No, but look, what I'm saying is right, it doesn't matter what you have done. We can wrap this up here, because I've got it sorted, right?
Okay.
Doesn't matter what you have done, at the end of the day, it's obvious that you've had it done. If you're a fella and you've been changed to a woman, I could spot you, right? If...
You can't, though.
I tell you what, I was at Suzanne's mum and dad's, right, up north last week, and I went to the off-licence, right? Yeah. And I went in there, never seen this fella before, right? As soon as I walk in, I eye him up behind the counter, I go, alright, mate.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
I notice he's got a wig on, right?
Yeah.
Now, it was, I kinda looked and I thought, yeah, it's a wig, whatever. And then, I thought, I wonder if it is, and as I got to the till, I said, how much is that? He said, you know, 50 pence, I said, great. And as he turned to the till...
Were you buying Suzanne a gift?
As he turned to the till and he did that sort of angle, you got the profile, you see the bit sticking out of the back, you go, that's a wig.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. And it's like a little, it just, the last inch just lifts away from the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, everybody who goes in that shop will probably know him as having a wig and that. He keeps him happy, but everybody knows. So, what I'm saying is, it's like...
But could I just say, transsexuals put in a little bit more effort than a fella who's plonked a rug on top and held it down with some duct tape. Do you know what I mean? You know, the only giveaway often with a transsexual is the big hands. They can't do anything about that. That's the only thing, you know.
Right.
But I mean, transvestites are different, you know, they are builders in the dress. You go in a supermarket, you turn around, you see a 6-foot woman, huge head, you go, alright love. You know what I mean? You know, down below, she's packing more than us 3 put together.
That's what I'm saying.
But, you know what I mean, that's one of the, if Eddie Izzard, right, you're meeting Eddie Izzard, right, who likes to pop on a dress now and again, right, what's the politics with that? Do you go, because he walks in, he's all in evening gown, and he goes, alright Carl, and you go, alright Eddie, and it's in a busy pub, and you go, oh, why is he, and you go, do you say, do you want a pint of bitter, and slap him on the back like you would have, or do you go, that's lovely dress, do you know what I mean, what do you do? What do you do with a transvestite?
Would you compliment a transvestite
on their lovely dress?
if he was wearing a nice dress? In the same way that you would if Suzanne was wearing
Probably
a nice
in a
frock?
different way. I'd probably say, that dress, you know, looks nice. Be even nicer on a woman.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So you try and change the way they think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd want to teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
For sure.
In a way.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of them things I can't get my head around, to be honest, right? I can handle hairy Chinese kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it true to say that you've never been able to handle a transvestite?
So I'm just going to add that to the list then, Carl, of things you can't figure out. It's now 4 volumes.
Do you know, the other week when, I came up with, like, a different idea of how we can sort of make the world run and that?
Can we just have a quick recap of that? Because I seem to remember it was a load of old arse.
It was ridiculous. It was, he was saying that the world is overpopulated, so the system would be where people were living too long and stuff. So what happens is, people live till 78, I don't know how you can enforce that, right?
Yeah.
But when they die, they've got a little baby in their stomach,
Right.
like a pip in an apple,
Yeah.
that then carries on when they die.
Right.
It wasn't a theory, it wasn't an idea, it was the ramblings of a mental
You're
case.
saying it's stupid, but someone's emailed in and said, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Just saying,
Go on.
if that's a no, right, I've been thinking
It is a
about,
no.
what about if we do it the other way, right?
Ah.
Go on.
Somehow, I don't know how
A
yet.
kid has an old lady?
That's what it's going to be, isn't it? A child will give birth to an old man.
No. What I'm saying is, right,
Go on.
work the other way round.
Come on then.
So if somehow we can inject something in like a body that's just died, right?
Listen to this. Imagine this. But imagine this is notes.
So-
when he hands it into the Nobel people,
Yeah.
and they go, if there's a way that we can inject something, they go, well, what? Well, I don't know the chemical formula, but something HO2.
Right. So anyway, so you inject it in the temple.
He's narrowed it down to the temple.
So what happens?
She sort of wakes up,
Amazing.
right? And she works the other way. So like she might be 77,
Yep.
and then she'll have a birthday. She's 76, and she's working that way.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Okay.
Are you with me?
No, keep it.
Because the thing is, you've got.
I have no
I'm
idea.
really scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. This is the maddest thing you've ever said.
Yeah.
This is madder than the old lady with the pip like an apple in her belly.
It sort of did work.
This is...
No, it didn't work. It worked in your head. It's like a dream that you wake up and go, oh, I've got a great theory. And
This
it's
is
like,
this is it. Let me just tell you the
Go on,
ending, because the endings works out a bit better.
go on.
What I'm saying is, when you die at the age of
78.
9 months,
What?
at the age of 9 months, because that's when you come out.
What do you mean when you die at the age of
You're
9?
not scared of dying because you're now a baby, so you don't know what's going on anyway. So there's no fear.
So you missed out a bit here. So this woman, what, literally gets younger and younger?
I think
Yeah.
when she's in her 20s, she's in her old age, Rick.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because that's the fun part of your life, isn't it? When you're 20 and you've got all your energy and that. So before you die, you're actually having a good life rather than it being the other way around.
But does she do different stuff than she did on the way up? Because she's already lived 78 years, hasn't she? Don't forget. She was a baby once, and she grew to 78 years, then someone stuck a needle in her head and said, right, back you go.
No, we'll forget all that bit.
Oh, forget all that bit. How do we forget that bit?
What I'm saying
So
is...
she died and she doesn't remember all her, this is a new life, is it?
Let me just leave you with this.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself.
But aren't the family getting younger as well? What's happened to the family?
Forget
I
it
don't-
then, we'll leave it as it is.
No, leave it as it is, shall we?
Shall we? Can we all agree on that, guys? Now, should we agree to leave it as it is? Is that all right? Because I don't want to hear any more from the diaries of Charles Manson.
No, it's, I mean, you're a fucking maniac.
A friend of mine got a gift, or rather gave it as a gift. I don't know if you've been familiar with these. It's a charity organisation, and you go on their website or you phone them up, and you can give someone else the gift of, say, a goat. And it's a sort of goodwill thing, you know what I mean?
So
People-
you buy an African family a goat
that will help them for years.
and it's
to come.
like you're saying, well, I would have bought you a present.
Yeah,
but
I've used that money wisely.
Yeah, so it's almost like they've given
Exactly.
the present. They've given the goat.
Yeah, it's a beautiful idea. But as soon as he told me about it, I thought to myself straight away, knowing Carl's views on charity and giving,
Yeah.
I wondered what his views would be.
Well, are they happy with the present over there? Like the people who are getting it?
you're an idiot. What, you think an African family wakes up and there's a little goat with a ribbon tied round it, and they go, "Oh, look what Santa brought us."
Look, and that mince pie's gone and that glass of milk.
You're such an idiot.
No, but what I'm saying is, does that family want a goat?
Yes.
But why?
It's not they want a goat, it's they need a goat. Do you think... What do you think this organisation is?
Just arbitrarily giving goats to people.
They're going to say, "Oh, I wanted Nintendo." What are you thinking?
Well, what I'm saying is, right, let me put myself in their shoes. Well,
This'll be
I
a
haven't got
first.
any. But say I'm one of them, right, over there. Right, I'm sat there, it's Christmas Day, right? I open it up, open the present, little goat there, right? Now, if I was one of them, I'd be going, not another mouth to feed. At the end of the day, there isn't enough food to go round for themselves, never mind a goat. Don't they say, like, having a dog and that is quite expensive? Sometimes they say, you know, what with all the injections you've got to give it.
Well, I'm assuming it's all above board. The goat's had its injections. That's what some of the money goes towards. It's just a way of redirecting cash.
But the thing is, why do they want that goat? What's the main reason? What does a goat give you?
Milk.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be easy to just send them a bottle of milk? Without all the hassle and the headaches that come with it. That's all I'm saying. And the other thing is, think about the goat. That was happy over here. Suddenly, it's on barren land. No grass.
I'm gonna burst! What do you mean?
You didn't send a goat from here.
I'm saying, who's happy at the end of this, right? You've got a fella who hasn't got a present over here because the mate bought him a goat, right? So yeah, let's do this properly. So there's a tick. He's not happy, right? Then you've got the person who's opened it, who, like you said, wanted something else, right? It's a goat. They go, who's going to look after this, right? So tick, they're not happy. And then you've got the goat going, what am I doing here?
Definitely love this, surely. Have you started seeing this now? Virgin are starting plugging Virgin Galactic. I think it's something like 200,000 quid, and you'll get a chance to go in a space shuttle into space.
Carl, thoughts?
Going to space.
Wouldn't it be a fascinating experience to go into space and look back at the Earth?
I mean, at what point are you all meant to be happy? Do you know what I mean? You're floating about up there, and because you don't get out, do you?
What, you mean to do some duty-free shopping?
I'm just talking, you don't go floating about, do you? You stay in your seat.
Well, they probably let you move around on the shuttle.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about getting out. For me, when you go on
What, you want to
holiday-
get out into space?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. When you go on holiday, the flight bit isn't the best bit of the holiday, is it? That's the bit you've got to do. So what I'm saying is you've got to stay on this and then you go back home. So you don't take luggage, right? I don't see the point.
Right, so you're there, you're sat in your own clothes for the whole time, same clothes the whole time.
But I don't understand what is the point.
I think it's the view. I think it's two things. I think it's the view and being able to be part of an exclusive club. I went into space. It's all that thing about man conquering nature, and you're one of that elite few that have managed to pop up, see the world from a distance that no one else can see it from, and then pop down.
All that way just for the view.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? I mean, there's a lot of other places I haven't seen anyway. Right, before I think about that, I think if you've done everywhere, I haven't been to Scotland yet. Right?
Right, yeah.
I'm not being funny, but do you know what I mean? So just have a look in your back garden before you go looking in someone else's.
In space.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would make it a trip worthwhile for you? I mean, if you did go into space, if we gave it to you free of charge, we said, Carl, go up into
I know the
space."
answer. I know the answer to this, Steve. He's thinking, I'd like to meet some aliens that can talk like I do,
Yeah.
and I can understand them, and they can tell me something. Like what? Oh, they met God, he was all right. That's the sort of thing, that's what he's going to say. He'd like them to look like monkeys in spacesuits.
Yeah.
That would be his ideal thing. He'd like to go to the planet of the
He'd like to go to
apes.
the planet of the apes.
He
Yeah,
would
I'll do that.
love
They
to
could
go
arrange
to
that.
Look, he's nodding. He's
Yeah.
nodding. Thoughts, Carl?
Well, yeah, that'd be brilliant.
What would be brilliant?
Seeing a little alien and that, having a chat with him, finding out what's been going on.
What's been going on?
No. But don't you think that, like, I mean, if you bought me that as a present, right,
Yeah.
either of you,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that happy. For me, that's a little bit like...
Well, that's annoying because we've got you a trip
We
to
just
space
pulled
and
together.
a goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how, like, I am interested in sort of going on another planet, right? Not,
Carl, you are on another planet, mate.
no, but do you know what I mean? It would be quite sort of interesting.
How do you think you'd get there?
Well, yeah, you'd go on a rocket and stuff, but what I'm saying is, at least you know when you get there, you're getting out, you're having a bit of a wander. But I wouldn't be happy in just the journey bit of it. That's all I'm saying.
That's great, isn't it?
But the thing is, right? Because I was looking into it a bit because I was reading about the Virgin Atlantic thing, right? And I was reading something that in 1971, right? 3 of them went up there. There was 1 bloke in the rocket, right? The other 2 wandered off, had a walkabout, seeing what rocks they can find. And that bloke who was in the rocket, right? He was the loneliest man ever in the world.
I don't know what to do. What that was. I don't know what to do. I don't know if that's some sort of profound poetry or I don't know. Do you know what I think he's trying to say? He's trying to say he was, by definition, a human furthest away from all other human contact.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, okay. No, you said loneliest. Loneliest evokes an emotion.
Yeah.
But
it's like he started crying and writing poetry and listening to Morrissey records.
But what I was thinking is, do you think when he got up in the morning, he still bothered to put his clothes on?
That's the first thing that came into your mind.
No,
when
just
you
because
pictured him
I
in
always,
there.
at the end of the day, even if, like, my girlfriend Suzanne's out at work and that, I'm not happy walking about with everything out, because you never know what's going to happen. I just mean, you never know if someone's going to turn up.
no, I don't like what I don't like. No, I always pop some pants on or a towel, even if I'm
not
alone.
always. Because I've knocked on your door when you've been stood there with.
No, he's taking his trousers off.
I did it especially knowing
right.
that you were there. I've done it especially to annoy you.
Right.
Yeah, so.
But do you know what I mean? Do you think he was walking about the rocket with his tackle out, or did he go, no one's watching here?
Do you reckon it floats up or down?
Well, if you are the man who was up in a space rocket and was for a short period the loneliest man in the world, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you did with your time, how lonely you felt, and also did you float around with your cock and balls out?
Coldplay, Speed of Sound. Steve, I know you like an insight to my musical taste, but that's my favourite Coldplay track of all time. I just thought I'd just throw that in.
Not a fan of clocks?
No, I think I've overplayed Parachutes a little bit, and but that's my favourite one. I like it.
I'm afraid to say I'm a bit of a Philistine when it comes to Coldplay. That sounds the same as all the other ones. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, you'll have to meet these boys one day.
Yeah, I'll tell them to their face. I don't care. A little bit rock and roll. I don't care.
Well, I'm Ricky Gervais. That little funny little Wurzel type voice over there is Stephen Merchant, and with us our producer Karl Pilkington. All right.
Whenever we say producer, of course, that is in inverted commas.
Yeah.
Done with the fingers.
Well, he didn't have it. I wanted to play some off my iPod today to record it because they didn't have it here. It's a great track called Anthony and the Johnsons. He didn't even have the lead. He went, right, it's difficult. And he went, is it any good? I went, yeah, it's really good. He went, well, why haven't we got it here already then? That's the paradigm, is it? If X-Man hasn't got it, it's no good. Four Non-Blondes doing well, is it? That's still in the cupboard, is it? Unbelievable. We're a little bit annoyed today, aren't we, actually?
I'm really annoyed.
Yeah, all that stuff we did last week, Landauer sent us some sparkling wine, and we thought, right, you shamelessly plugged it.
Yeah.
How many times you mentioned it? Like 20 times?
20 times.
Well, the finale was hitting Carl on the head with a cork. That's on the website, by the way.
Okay.
RickyGervais.com. Go there and see Carl being hit in the head with a cork, right?
Yeah.
We said, look, send us free stuff, we'll talk about it.
Nothing. The cupboard
literally
is
nothing.
empty. The cupboard is bare.
No one has thought, I tell you what, there's those guys from The Office.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's be honest, Rick, we are taste makers. We're opinion formers, you and I.
Yeah.
And you'd have thought if anyone was going to send us some free stuff,
yeah.
it makes me fume. And you know what it is? It's because PR people and that, they've realised no one's listening.
But not only are we going against all our principles and losing our dignity just for some free stuff.
And integrity.
Yeah. We're going against excellent policy, because obviously they would have got thousands of pounds for Landauer to be mentioned last week, 20 times. No, it wouldn't have. It's 42, isn't it? It's 40 quid.
Yeah.
40 quid for a 9-minute advert.
Exactly.
So advertise your quality stuff here.
Yeah.
Jeff's Garage. Cheaper than some other garages. Anyway, actually,
Didn't we play an advert once for a tattoo parlour? Yeah! Remember that? I'm sure we played an advert for a tattoo parlour. What tattoo parlour can afford to advertise on a radio station? Unless it's a tin pot one like this.
Oh, God! Oh, got some good music today, though, Steve.
Oh, really? I hope so. I'll be the judge of that. Go on, what have you got?
Well, AC/DC.
Oh!
Have you got a bit of, bare skin? You need, colouring in? Come along to, Ron's bike shop and tattoo parlour. He'll write Mum on your hand and give you Harley a tune-up while you wait. I can't believe no one wants to advertise with us.
And that only costs, what, 20 quid?
Yeah.
And they play that
I mean,
endlessly.
I turned down millions of pounds to do adverts because I think it's beneath me. And I thought last week I'll give it a little bit back. I'll excite all these people who want to get it.
Nothing.
All I'm thinking is, Steve, either our cachet's gone down, no one wants us anymore, right? Which is impossible, surely.
I would have thought so.
Or we're on a tin pot station that no one listens to. Now,
Correct answer.
Unbelievable. I'm having to hold on the pop shield of this mic because it keeps falling off.
It's embarrassing.
It's awful. I mean, oh God. Well, Carl, what are your thoughts? Why have you stuck it out here?
Nothing better coming in, I would have thought.
Well, I'll tell you why, because you're always on holiday. You don't do a lot. You get paid, well, doesn't he, really? He's a moany. He doesn't try and get on at all. He doesn't deal with people. He moans about everything. And, so he's...
I'm alright, I've got my own little room and that.
Yeah. Like a cage. It is like a cage, isn't it? And he can shut the door, shut the door. If Pete walked past, he goes, shut the door. He doesn't want him looking in. He's like a miserable old chimp. We noticed today how much he's simian, isn't he?
It's very strange, actually. Maybe we should try and get a picture on the website, because Carl's arms are particularly chimp-like. It's very, very strange.
Because he's got that he's got long downy hair. It's
and
not
the
like...
long extended knuckles.
Yeah, and his totally round face that sort of the chin goes back and the dome of his cranium. I think, quite seriously, I know we sort of share about 98.5% of our genetic material with, bonobos and chimpanzees, but I think he's got a little bit more.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's a little bit of a throwback. Just his line, they just kept to this sort of, really the ugliest one in the cave.
Yeah.
And the tree, and he really didn't come out of it. I'm not saying you are, I don't think you are. Yeah, you're chimp-like.
No, it does annoy me. My hair annoys me on my body and that. Because I've got like hair on my little toes and that.
Have you?
And on the legs.
Would you, see your little toes, can you pick things up with them?
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Well, that's the finale of this week's show. We're going to see if he can play a record and put the fader up.
From a tyre. While swinging in a tyre.
Just using his hairy toes.
Yeah.
I've sort of got hair all the way, but then it just runs out where it should be.
On the top of your head.
Top of your head.
And is this part of the reason why you're always uncomfortable about, being nude or around naked people? Is that partly the reason, do you think, because you look so grotesque?
Well, when I'm on holiday, I don't really like wandering about without a top on unless, like, it's a quiet beach or whatever.
Sure. So what would you normally wear?
I just have like a nice sort of light, summery, sort of linen shirt, maybe, just a few top buttons open.
Yeah.
But I don't like, the naked body isn't that nice anyway, is it? You know what I mean? Whatever it is, if you're a cat and you're shaved, you don't look that nice. You know what I mean? But with
I think you'll find the cat is naked even with its fur on. The cats don't wear clothes.
No, but what I mean is, a bald cat isn't that good. You know it does me head in that I'm bald. I'm not, if I could have hair, it would be nice, but that's like...
Would you prefer animals to wear clothes like Mickey Mouse does? Or Goofy?
You know that I don't like nudist and all that, we've done it.
But don't you think sometimes you could sort of like, maybe, fancify a little bit? Like, if there was such a thing as an ape, salon, and there isn't, Carl, there isn't, right? Would you, give a orangutan a trim, maybe start with his hair, because some of those look like they're going bald, but they've got a comb over, don't they?
Just have a shave. When it's like that. That's what I did. Take it back.
And the underarms as well. Yeah, they've really got a lot of underarm hair. Even the women ones.
Really?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I know. I don't know. I don't even know why they breed. I don't know. I don't know how they get their laid from those horrible old, hairy ginger orangutans.
Yeah, they are particularly grim, some of those.
I know, yeah.
The big ones.
I know.
Ginger ones.
Yeah.
You can't be happy, can they? What is that? Where did that happen, the ginger thing? Why do people give them, like, a hard time on that?
Well, you just gave them a hard time then, so why did you do it? You were
No,
just
it's
flying in,
it's
were you,
just
to
that people do sort of give. I don't understand why, but ginger people get quite a bit of stick, and I've never understood it.
No, I was doing this. Just, I don't know why. I
They
don't
do,
know.
though, don't they?
I don't know. It might be historical. It might have been because I'm sure they don't everywhere in the world. I'm sure it's probably.
No, they are. They're always. I've said to you about even like ginger cats are always fat because they're sort of sick of it, probably.
Wait. Ginger cats, what do you mean
Well, when
they're
you
sick
see
of
a
it?
ginger cat-
They've been eating, like, because
Yeah,
they're
'cause
upset,
fed up
they've
and
been
that.
bullied.
You never
and
see
things.
like a thin, happy ginger cat running about. It's always overweight and looking a bit fed up. It's just a good point, isn't it?
I wouldn't say it was a good point, Carl, it's a point.
So last week the Chinese don't age well. Now anything ginger, including cats,
Yeah.
No,
are sick of it.
No, but I'm just saying.
Are
I
you
don't-
ginger? Would you like to take issue with any of Carl's points? 83
I know I
XFM
think
is the
ginger-
text. You can text us. Maybe you've seen a thin ginger cat.
I'm not having a go though. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's weird how people give him a hard time. And it's if I could have hair, I'd go for ginger hair rather than being bald.
Really?
Mm.
Landed from Ben Folds on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington.
Had a fax.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind champagne and freebies like that. Just forget that. We're not doing that anymore. It didn't work. Okay, but we are still in demand. Got a fax here, right? So the guy says, I produce a programme for the BAS scientists, right? Wintering in Antarctica. Now, what this bloke is saying is, there are scientists, right, researching in Antarctica, and they're already locked away and sort of like out of touch, because they can't get to them, right? But they're soon going to be living in 24-hour darkness, because through the midsummer here, it's darkness for 24 hours for like 3 months, and they're totally cut off, and he's trying to get some stuff together, and he wants us to record a message, and it said, every year, they choose a celebrity to do something, a message, of their choice. They had Rolf Harris, David Attenborough, Jonathan Ross. This year, Ricky is the popular choice. So I'm up there with Rolf Harris, David Attenborough and Jonathan Ross in terms of the vote amongst some scientists stuck in a hut in Antarctica for 3 months.
I think they've just got cabin fever.
So that's another so that's another poll I've won. A British Antarctic scientist in a hut poll.
I was trapped in a little room with several other men for 3 months of pitch darkness.
Sexist.
Or indeed women.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why I'd ever want a message from Rolf Harris. What would Rolf? I mean, David Attenborough, fascinating.
Well, I
Jonathan
assume
Ross,
it is it's the animal. I assume they're researching penguins or something, aren't they? If they're stuck there, or maybe
But what's that got to do with
seismic
Rolf?
activity, or maybe polar shift. I don't know.
Possibly if you were researching kangaroos.
Yeah. Oh, well, he knows about all animals, doesn't he? You can take him a budgie with a broken wing and he'll sort it out. Or he knows a man who does.
Sure.
He can, he'll sort that out for you. And he'll do a picture of it.
Yeah.
While you wait.